Hello and welcome. I am D.A. Myers, your lovely host of this podcast, vlogcast, whatever you want to call it. I don't like definitions, it's just part of who I am, so just call it what you want. I do this thing with video stuff. Anyways, so part of who I am is something called an ENTP. This is a part of a system of personality typing called the Myers-Briggs system. It's fairly popular. There's a lot of people who pay attention to it, and a lot of people who argue about it consistently over the internet. That's kind of what I've been doing for the last about 6 months since I got back into it. So my history, I picked it up about 5-6 years ago, figured out my personality, read about it a little bit, and said, oh, this is really cool, and didn't really do much with it. But I always turned to it as kind of a try to for personal growth, and it just never really worked until the last time I picked it up and actually started discussing it in depth with somebody who knew about it a lot more than I did. And so I started reading into it, and it's pretty much been most of my focus for the last couple of months. So I'm by no means an expert, but I am developing my own theory, and I will share some of that theory with you now. So we're going to go into the basics of what Myers-Briggs is. Don't ask me about the history or anything like that, because I find that stuff irrelevant, so I don't really read into it too much. Anyways, so my understanding of it, we're going to show you on the animation station the different types and how it works. So first we will get into what each of the letters mean. So we start with... There's 4 letters. It's a binary code. ENTP through ISFJ. So every possible letter combination in between there gives you 16 types. And so probably a really good place to start out with this, if you don't know anything, is, well, keep watching this video. I'm going to try to make it basic. But if you go to 16 personalities.com, they have a pretty decent test that you can take if you're interested in your type, which I suggest. It's a very, very powerful system for self-growth and self-discovery. That's what I use it for, as well as understanding how other people function. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful tool. So 16personalities.com, that'll give you the test. The test is really inaccurate because people can't self-test accurately ever. So it can at least put you on the right path. And then basically they've got really, really great type descriptions. So check your type, read the description. If it really resonates with you, it's eerily accurate. It will resonate with you on a very, very deep level. If that occurs, then that's more likely your type. If it doesn't quite feel right, then maybe read some of the other types that are similar to yours. So like, say you type as an INFJ, sometimes they're actually INFP, or things like that. You just kind of have to read through the different descriptions that's like one letter off, and kind of see how things alter, because all the personalities are quite distinctive. So how this boils down, let's just from the basics. So E versus I is extrovert versus introvert. So extrovert versus introvert, this is something that's much debated on the internet, but most people agree that the proper definition is it's how you manage your energy resources, and not how you function socially. So most people think extrovert, outgoing, likes to be around people. Introvert, likes to stay at home. It's, it can be true, but there's definitely introverted extroverts. I am one, and there are extroverted introverts as well. So it's kind of hard to figure that one out sometimes. So energy resources. So I like to ask the question of, in a good social situation, so I define good meaning, it's not negative, it isn't a domineering type situation or anything like that. It's just like a normal, good social interaction, whether it's at a party or, you bump into someone on the street and you strike up a conversation, whatever. After that situation ends, do you feel energized or do you feel drained? Me, I'm an extrovert. I feel energized when I'm around people. Introverts, they can be around people sometimes and function very well around people, but then afterwards they need some time to be by themselves or to be with very special people to rebuild their energy resources. Yeah, so that's E versus I. N versus S. So N versus S, and that is intuition versus sensing. And this has to do with how you gather information from the world, or how you kind of gather information, how you see information. So intuitives tend to be more future-oriented. They tend to be more about idea generation, and they're very much never thinking about right now. I'm an intuitive. I tend to be always thinking about the future in many, many different ways. And all the intuitives that I know share this function. And so sensing is more about what's happening right now or what has happened in the past. And so usually sensing personalities are more grounded in like reality, what's happening right now, and intuitives tend to be up in the clouds all the time. Some types worse than others, but yeah. So then next we have T versus F, and that is thinking versus feeling. And this has to do with how you make decisions. So the thinking types, they are generally more logical and they follow a rationale to come to decisions, whereas a feeling type tends to make decisions based on the heart more often, how you feel about stuff, depending on how you feel inside or outside, depending on your function stack, which we'll get into in a bit. So that one's pretty easy. Do you think first or do you feel first? That's kind of how it works. So then the next one is the P versus J. So that is is that right? I don't know how to spell. Perceiving versus judging. And this has to do with it's like how you organize things, or how things are shaped in your mind, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain, but anyways, perceivers tend to be a little more chaotic in how they organize things, a little bit more all over the place, whereas judges tend to be more focused on single tasks. But I mean, it all changes. Everybody is a unique individual. It just this provides insight into how you make decisions, how you interact with the world, and everything like that. So those are your letter combinations, and you can kind of type yourself by asking yourself a couple of questions, but the easiest and a little more accurate way of doing it is actually to take one of the online tests. 16 Personalities is a great place to start. So that's where we're going to finish off this video. My next one, I will get into function stacks, which are really exciting, and it boils down to how all of this stuff works and the interaction of the different types and the different letters and what they need and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe wherever the button is. Like if you like it. Whatever. Go to my website, fifthsum.ca. You can see a little bit more about what I'm doing, but all of this is very much a work in progress. So I kind of tend to develop and release when inspiration strikes. So things tend to be a little bit slow. But that's okay. Things get done. It's really exciting. So again, I hope you enjoyed. See you later.